These are the saddest backstories in Blue Lock that brought tears into our eyes. At number 7, we've got Naruhayas. Now Naruhaya had a very loving family, who unfortunately was struggling just to get by, and so he set his sights on becoming a professional football player, which will allow him to provide for his family. But unfortunately everything got crumbling at the hands of Iseki. However, and the reason Naruhaya is last is because he could find another way to provide for his family, and so this is not really the end for him. At number 6, however, we've got Alexis Ness, who is actually the exact opposite of Naruhaya. Despite his family being well off, they are completely unsupportive to him. Even as a kid, they would rather bully him and even hurt him than just to nurture his rich imagination. However, if we wanna talk about a family that takes abuse to the extreme, of course we gotta talk about Hiyori. You see, on surface level, Hiyori's family seems to be perfect. Two athlete parents loving their athlete son. However, as later poor Hiyori discovered, his parents actually do not love him nor care for him. To them, he is just a lab rat with the best genetics to become an athlete, so they can feel better about their failures if their kids succeed. And honestly, this is so dark from Blue Lock. Hiyori discovered that his parents actually see him as nothing more than a lab rat. However, if you want to talk about dark, there isn't a darkest backstory than Snuffy's, who lost his best friend to drugs. And in fact, Snuffy's backstory is more dark than it is sad, because it deals with very serious subjects like suicide, drug abuse, and depression, especially for a country like Japan, who is known for higher rates of suicide. And honestly, the only reason it is not at number 1, because nothing happened to Snuffy, but actually it is to his friend. And so I think the top 3 on our list are sadder than Snuffy's. At number 3, we've got the sinking ship's backstory, Yukimiya Kenyu. You see, if you just go back a few years, Yukimiya would have had everything. He is handsome, has a bright future in modeling, he is an athlete who is very good at soccer, by the way, and he even has a dream of becoming the best in the world. However, and all of a sudden everything is taken away from him, as he discovers that he suffers an eye illness that really put his dream at risk. And this really changed his perception about life, and honestly, who wouldn't? However, clocking in at number 2 and number 1, we have a tie between Kaiser and Lorenzo's backstory. You see, both came very close to dying, because again of their parents. Lorenzo's parents abandoned him at a young age, and he's scrapped by living in garbage. However, this took a very heavy toll on his soul and body, and he came very close to dying before he got saved by Snuffy. On the other hand, Kaiser got only abandoned by his mother. However, I'm not really sure if he is better off than Lorenzo, because all his father did was abuse him to death. And honestly, if Kaiser did not become a very good thief, he would have died one way or another. But now you know.